Is Tide the response, though? I still feel like an Alchemist runs at a Tide pretty effectively. Sure, it will hinder the laning phase. That is the given, that this Tide is going to do some adequate laning phase destruction, more or less. But an Alchemist, once Battle Fury's up, it's gone. However, I think, was that Alchemist game an L? It was, right?
Yes, it was. They won, I believe, the series, but it was they lost or they beat an Alchemist, which is the the important aspect. But
and
we might even see
the meta hero. That's the important part, chat.
That's the important part. But the only issue I see is that maybe what you do is you send the Wraith King and you try to get a trial line going, because we've seen in that one series where it was a keep in mind it was a Timbersaw versus Beastmaster, but I think Tidehunter is among those same lines where you lane it versus the Beastmaster solo. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but Tide will be able to farm very easily versus the Beast, and that's the only way I can imagine Unknown kind of salvaging these lanes, because if Alk is able to have too much of a free time, then it's just out. He just runs away. There's nothing you can do. It's the almost cheese hero. It's almost crazy that he was able to be picked up this late into the phase.
10 seconds remaining.
Dire
team ban.
Well, then it all just comes down to the mids. And they ran out the Void, which was good against the Alchemist. And is there no sound? What do you mean? What? Oh, God. Chat's scaring me. And by chat, I mean one guy in particular.
Fair enough. But Unknown Team also, they take out the heroes that could be scary. Morphling, very justified. We saw yesterday Alone playing it, and he was very scary. He was, even though they did not win that game, he had a very, very strong showing on it. As well as, I guess, just not wanting to play versus the Invoker. It still causes problems for Wraith King, even though most of the time you do get that Aghanim Shard. But you do need to be careful, especially with a player as individually skilled as Alone has been in this tournament. He's really been rocking the boat a little bit, I think, in this tournament.
Yeah, there's been a lot of, I don't really know if it was more along the lines of unique picks, but it's just the play skill for him has been absolutely phenomenal. And he didn't really seem to have too many signature heroes. Like, he has that flexibility.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, he's not stuck in that 2 to 4 hero range where if a team really wanted to, they could ban out everything and then really force him out of his comfort zone. It seems like he's almost breached into that upper echelon of mid laners where it's just like, yeah, I'll play on anything. Oh, it's a good lane, yeah, even better. But Egoboys draft is just so strong. I think they have to do something about the lanes on Unknown. Otherwise, I'm really worried about it. And I mean, I'm looking at their heroes. They could just go for the Monkey King on Egoboys. We saw that not get banned out at all. So I wonder if Unknown are thinking about deny picking it at this point, because if Egoboys get Monkey King, I really don't think that Unknown are going to have a really great time. That seems like the perfect pick for them.
Yeah, it's the go-to one that you run up against the Tidehunter, and it was like you were talking about in last game, when Wraith King dies, you drop the Wukong command on top, and I mean, there's nothing you could literally do about it. The big ring is right in the middle of the reincarn, and yeah. But it'd feel kind of bad even to pick it up as a deny pick, because then you're picking your mid as your Monkey King, and I mean, you're not last pick. It can get countered out pretty easily.
You're just open up to anything. You could get Viper mid. You could get
that's one of the classics.
All of those heroes are still in the pool, and I'm guessing that's what they're thinking.
Whoa.
The SA special.
All right. You know what? It's been a long time since I've seen a Snapfire. And by that, I mean, it's because of the fact that she kind of got nerfed into Oblivion. But I guess Oblivion strikes back, and we're going to see the Snapfire mid then. Unless they flex around with it.
It's another Thompson special that he just brought up. He brought it out of nowhere, and then South America still really likes it. I mean, I like that hero a lot. It's very entertaining, but
Kunkka. All right, I think this is another like region-specific pick. To be honest,
this is another region-specific pick. It's still really good, and seeing the lanes as well. I mean, you're very happy, I think, if you're alone. It's a classic. It's almost funny just because of the lore, but it's a classic pick versus Tidehunter just because the X doesn't get purged off by the Kraken shell, so it's always great versus that hero. In the same way, Nyx Assassin can't do anything versus it. You always have to you carapace the torrent, but then you still take all of the damage from the boat. It's a very, very solid pick, and you still have this looming Alchemist. I The heroes on Egoboys just seem so much stronger individually than Unknown. I think it's going to be a really rough early game into mid game for them.
Well, it's not to say though that like Wraith King can kind of just do the whole jungle farming technique. Like you run as I like to call it, the Terrorblade effect. Walk into the jungle, farm for 10 minutes, come back out, and you've got enough farm. Like if Unknown's draft doesn't win these lanes, then they still. I don't want to be like the jungle is a great place to turn to, because that's like the worst thing you could say about a Dota 2 game. Is that the jungle is still available as a place of respite.
Well, and that's the issue with this Alchemist hero is if you're both
Oh, right.
farming, you're
It's not
not
even there.
happy.
Yeah.
You're very unhappy, as a matter of fact, because the Alch is just going to be able to get so much more. In addition to that, you do have this Tidehunter, you do have this big team fight, but then you have Benjaz on this Beastmaster who's going to be constantly having the vision advantage over you, which makes this Nyx pick feel even worse. But there are still things to do. I mean, the Snapfire mid, are definitely plays to be made. I just think Unknown have a much more difficult draft to execute with the heroes they have.
You know, was DP banned?
Yes, they last banned it.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was gonna be like, DP would have been a great hero this game.
Oh,
Smoke from Wiz is gonna get broken, while the rest of the team wants to line up. But Rise is hanging up on the high ground here.
oh,
We'll
this
break
is quite
100% of the smoke. They're trying to find a good target for
Nyx needs to be
Impale.
careful.
Yeah, this is actually Nyx going down first, and I mean,
Oh no, the
Egoboys
Fade
are
Bolt as
perfectly
well.
fine with this one. They might lose one, but they're gonna get Robo Z with this. A 2-to-1 pick. Yeah, this brings me back. There was a Dota WTF where the whole entire team got wiped, and we're looking at this now. This is 3 heroes dead. Enchant
Tide's
is
gone
up
too.
in 10 seconds. Tide's down, losing a lot of damage here. I mean, Burna. Nothing you could do.
And it's because of the way they walked, it's because they're going into the boar slow. They just took so much damage, and as soon as that Fade Bolt landed onto 3 heroes, oh, the pause. Kale. But as soon as that Fade Bolt landed onto these 3 heroes, they just had no damage, and you saw all those heroes turn as soon as that landed, but it was too late. The Acid Spray too, it was just so unfortunate actually that they walked up into that. I mean, 3 kills before the Horn, they don't really matter too much, but I'm looking at these levels, and Enchantress is halfway to level 2. That's the big one. Getting Enchantress level 2 before the enemy team is even halfway to level 2 is going to be a big problem in this off lane, which is already going to be kind of a sore spot, I think, if they let the Enchantress get a camp.
I mean, you're like, I honestly couldn't have said it better myself. I hate to say that as a commentator, but it literally is the fact that since Enchantress has this run up already, it's going to be a bad sort of rundown. And you could see, I mean, what do we have wards on any of these 2 heroes? They're probably just going to have to physically body block these camps.
And that's a
pinged
win
the ward,
almost
though,
in
by the way.
itself for, yeah, they do see it.
The battle
And that's just a win. I mean, after the first creep wave, I believe Kara is going to be level 2.
No, top lane. I think Wiz was... Oh, actually, I know Wiz was trying to confirm the rune. He actually does manage to get it with the Impale, and they will still get a 2 even pickup.
And they're not doing the thing with the lanes that I was discussing before, where maybe you want to try and aggro into the Alchemist, you're trying to cut off his farm, because Wraith King in lane, he's got Wraithfire Blast, he's got that strong single target, but going 50-50 versus an Alch, this is always the scary point in this game, and it's going to be interesting.
I mean, this is still going to be a pretty good lane in the top. I mean, you could already see that Rises is set to below half HP. But at the same time, like, the cores of Unknown are all melee, except for mid Snapfire. But,
That's why you
Scatter
see
Blast bonus
Widge
damage.
taking this.
So.
That's why you see Widge taking this and immediately trying to block the camp as well. They're doing really good. He blocks the small as well. Wow.
I mean, they know they have to. It was like you were talking about.
But they're getting turned on.
Well, I mean, Drakeel, he's slowly burning, but he is a big, beefy boy. He will have the salve to sort of reset that. Kara trying to break it, but doesn't want to overextend it. But
You
yeah,
missed
the
the
level
wave
2.
as well on Nyx, unfortunately.
No, level 2, though, like you were talking about, is already up for this safe lane, and Kara having it very early is not going to be a great thing against Drakeel because he doesn't even have Kraken Shell, so he won't even have
Well,
the damage block.
and it's sort of a dual-edged sword. While Nyx was able to steal the creep wave, meaning the Tide will be able to bring it back. I mean, Kara's got nothing better to do. Both of his camps are blocked, so he's just going to hit you. And like we said, they weren't able to get an Observer Ward or Essential Ward up to the top lane. So Drakeel, who's already out of regen, is in a really shady spot.
Well, it is a Tide Hunter, though. It is one of the other heroes that I like to say has an early jungle potential, but it's back to the original statement that you don't want to, A, go back to the jungle, and B, try to go back to the jungle in an Alchemist game. You let the man free farm, he will take full advantage of that. And you can see it
And
now,
Widge,
like, Egoboys are just trying to hold it over. You can see Ryze's pinging the tower. He's like, we got to make this pull. And, I mean,
and honestly, Widge doing everything he needs to. That's a big reason why people like this Nyx Assassin still, is it does
Stun.
secure lanes.
I mean,
He's
here's
taking a lot
the
of damage.
downside, though. He is a very squishy hero. 7 armor underneath the tower, 4 defaultively. But, you know, if you get Enchant in a bad spot and Rises when he eventually has the level 2 into Acid Spray, you're not going to be able to do those stand-in melee positions for so long.
And with his camp blocking up, honestly, the bright side of this top lane is that Widge is playing it absolutely perfectly. He's been keeping his creep camps alive. He's the shining light in this top lane. He keeps that camp blocked even though they did find out about his sentry, and he's really salvaging this top lane. But other lanes, not so interesting.
Kara might be in trouble here, actually.
Oh.
They find a good double down stun. Drakeel is most likely going to
he
be
walked
going
out.
down here, but the block is there. And Kara actually rises to get the kill there. I thought it was going to be the power of the impetus, and Wish actually turning for CS, but he'll be fine. It looked like that might have resulted in a kill there.
He'll
Greed
get
does
chased
kill
out
the
of the
man.
wave. And the issue as well with this Enchantress pick is she's just so useful. Whenever this top lane gets a little bit too rough to the Alk, she'll be going, stacking camps, doing whatever she wants. She's trying to get the pull off right now, and we actually see mid, it's Tano.
Yeah, he lines up for a Fade Bolt. He's going to steal this creep, so Alone could walk up under the tower. Don't know entirely if it was intentional to steal it, because RoboZ actually doesn't have a hard time killing these creeps, but you can see the rune contest. Wiz finds the regen. Will find a good double stun, but the X mark was just in a great spot, and Tano actually the one that confirmed the kill with the Fade Bolt.
He did take away the regen rune from the Kunkka, which is important, but at the same time, RoboZ, he has to walk back to base now. And that's the issue with Kunkka versus Nyx, is you just X him, he has to guess the carapace. You can never really feel it out unless you really wait as long as possible. And even when you do, when the boat starts being a factor, then you take one tick of torrent damage, you take the rest, and then you get hit by the boat, and you're dead. You're just not a Nyx assassin anymore.
You know, I know we're not really talking about it too much, but I was going to jump down to the bot because we did see the rotation from Tano very early, which might have been buying some extra space, but I'm looking at like this overall CS. It's not as bad as I initially expected it to be. It's 28-2 to the 22-3 with the Beastmaster. It's not a terrible offlane.
And what Grimstroke, one of the best fives in the game versus Beastmaster, just because you always hit him with the brush, you always hit him with the Stroke of Fate, and if he's not too careful, he just has to immediately deny his boar. That's where most of his denies are coming from. So this Wraith King is having quite a nice time up here, but at the same time, you have to wonder to yourself, is this okay? And they're finally doing something about rises. There we go.
They do bring up the Snapfire, and well, there's not really much you can do about that scenario. No TP
At the
rotation
same time,
that would be able to
Vengeance.
solve it. Yep, they take out this Beastmaster. And possibly
Another.
down. Yep, they get him. SHCCD, that's, I don't know really how. I'll just say shh, or something like that, I don't know. SH, do that.
Dire's top tower
Sure.
is
Yeah,
under attack.
SH.
Dire's
You good with that one?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You never know what you'll say in the moment, you know.
Yeah, exactly why I want to try to confirm what to say now.
But striking in both lanes at the same time, now the real playmaker is going to be Alone. At the same time, though, Alone is probably going to be completely fine, farming as much as he can, or Tano stealing his farm as much as he can. Taking the mid lane as well, this is exactly what he needs to do. He needs to get active back out onto the map, but unfortunately, he kind of missed the timing where Wraith King wouldn't be level 6, but looks like he might save a point now, or maybe just skills
Yeah,
it up.
looks like he's... Nope, he skilled it. They could go on him if they found him, but the
If only
Grimstroke is
they
the only
knew,
one
but
to find.
And it looks like they whiffed on the smoke. Alone went a little bit too hard. He cut off a little bit too early, and he's just going to give up and go back mid.
Yeah, they X-pinged it as well. They knew that he was in that general vicinity. I don't know what kind of gave it away, though. He did... No, he didn't smoke... Oh, actually, hang on. Did he... Were they able to see it with this?
I
No,
think
they
the
weren't.
obs was placed after. Yeah, I think it was placed after. But
Okay.
already you see Rises has committed to the jungle. Already has one component, well, 1.25 components of his Battle Fury, and just going to continue to be very happy farming. While Wraith King is actually going for the armlet. He's maybe
Ooh.
going to get the Radiance later, but this is a build we see sometimes versus these timing heroes.
I'm actually a big fan of, like, the armlet as well. Because it kind of signifies that they want to do more early game fighting. Because then you just have the armlet toggling, and you just fight back consistently in the laning phase. Like,
Oh, in Kara?
oh yeah, he is being chased in the jungle here. Will get picked off by Darksteel and Wiz there. It's the power of the Nyx Assassin. He's not even 6. He's already running around getting kills.
Armlet's also one of those items that teeters on. It's just a really good farming tool, specifically on these melee safe laners, where it almost slots into the same spot as where a Maelstrom would go, where you can still go back for another farming item if you really need to. Like, you usually see a Wraith can go Armlet and then go back for the Radiance, or maybe back for the Midas, just so that way he can keep up. He's not all in on the early game, but 2 levels ahead of the Alk. I mean, his lane's been very fruitful, getting all that Boar XP as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst game for him. He is top of the net worth, but again, we're talking about top of the net worth in an Alchemist game, so it's somewhat bound to happen. He actually TP's bottom. He's done getting his farm contested by this Wraith King.
Yeah, I saw the 3 denies in the wave. A little bit sad.
Yeah, it's big hurts for sure.
Scanning.
Well, the scan goes out. It does hit the top wave lane, so it looks like they're not going to recover any information from there. God, it's just, you could see how much damage Grimstroke is just able to pump into a lane, though. Just continually casting Stroke of Fate. He gets out just in
Also,
time.
the Grimstroke, he's not. We will call him Prada from now on. His in-game name is whatever, but he's
It's Prada.
Top
Okay,
tower
good.
has fallen.
Yeah, I'll call him Prada then. That's easy.
That's way easier.
Yeah, because I actually, I know that name. I've
then
said that at
the
least a couple of times.
Then the phonetic nest that is phonetic mess that is SCH is where whatever 3 C's in the middle.
Yeah, whatever.
But they're making plays again with the Snapfire. She was farming up for a while, able to get closer to that Aghanim Scepter and smoking up on the bounty runes. They're trying to get a greedy. They're looking for the Alchemist, if anyone. They know he's going to be stacking and farming.
Yeah, they got the Ravage. They do have the Kisses. But with nobody around, the only person that's really just existing in a general area is Benjaz down here in the bot.
And I think they
X-Mark
are
on Burna though.
Under attack.
Well, that's not gonna.
Yeah,
have any
he's a
follow-up,
little
though.
bit of a precarious spot, but they're not able to really rotate over, especially Nyx. I think he's got the tome coming out now, but once Nyx hits level 6, he's able to find these opportunities on the Alchemist a lot more, especially just being able to stun him out of Acid Spray. But at the same time, I mean, Alone is scary.
Yeah, I mean, he's got. He doesn't have that much damage quite yet. It looks like we're gonna see the Heavens build right off the get-go here. Like, what is it? It's Heavens. It was Heavens Armlet and something else, or it was Radiance Shadow Wave.
Yes, it was like you either go Radiance and then just immediately get a BKB
Ooh,
afterwards. Oh,
He found Rises.
I think Rises found him too, though.
Well, there's a boat that went out in the mid, though, in the meantime, as they find the lift from the
Oh,
torrent onto the
Robo-Z.
Snapfire. The cookie's there, but the lift back. They steal a cookie themselves, but unable to
the
get it. The
Ravage.
Ravage comes in. It finds 3, and the kisses will be expended. At least claiming 2 here. Letting Kara escape for the time being, though. Wiz will find the impale. He tries to go for the body blocks. Is going to be silenced up. Wants to try to break it. The cookie is going to whiff. But they will at least get the stroke of fate with the barrel stuff shotgun blast from the scatter. They get 3.
The skeleton's showing up for fun as well. Oh, Wiz might... He's fine. But yeah, I think feeling a little bit too happy with their damage. Like you said, he doesn't
well-
actually have an item. Oh, they got one.
Yeah, they did roar him on the high ground, which I think... Was that a reveal of a ward or just a reveal of...
I think he had
No,
a
it was
hawk.
a reveal of ward.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Over here on the hill. Or no, that was their own ward. Yeah, no, it was a hawk then. Well, no, because the hawk is here.
I think he just saw it with this
Oh,
word right here. Maybe
yeah,
just
I'm
the
blind.
mid-high ground word.
I'm completely blind.
But they tried to get that kill before the Sanj was actually on alone, so they were missing that, like you said, that 1 damage item. But stealing Scatter Blast is one of the best spells that he can probably look for, along with Impale and Ravage and whatever Grimstroke could give him.
X-Marks goes out on
Oh,
Invis.
he got him.
Invis, but he gets him with the DD cleave.
Yeah, that's dirty.
I don't even think he needed the DD there.
They have to be careful. They don't have Ravage here, so this is... Yeah, they're deciding whether or not to deny it. Yeah, they're going to
Looks
commit
like
for
that's
it.
the play here. Kara just hanging around, maybe trying to get it.
Has been denied.
And after seeing the Alks farm, Burn actually, he changed his builds up. He decided to go instead for that, the Midas into Radiance, and he will keep up in net worth with the Alchemist, but Alk will be able to build, you know, sort of these better items. That's why the Armlet is what people usually build versus the Alk, because he's just going to be able to farm up everything now, and already having the Sanj, he's not really been contested. We haven't seen any big rotations coming in, but we've got a big one right now with the smoke. This is the Ags reveal on Robo-Z.
They smoke up. They're ready to go. And like you're right, it's the smoke reveal. Or the smoke reveal. It's the Ags reveal. If they find Rises, this is huge. They chew him up and they spit him out. They got the stun queuing onto Rises here, which will disengage, but the silence
No
is there.
ulti.
Berna looking for a good stun. He doesn't have it yet. They find him. They will go ahead and throw out the leash as well, so the Soul Bind will grab 2 in there. Mortimer Kiss stolen by Tano,
kisses.
though. And they actually turned this around. That's 4 dead. Resurrection expended. 3 dead. Wiz next to fall here, taking a lot of damage. Berna. X marked up. They do have just enough mana for a Torrent, and the Torrent does, in fact, latch. As alone will take the kill. That's a 4-man wipe. More or less, because Wiz is invis and does not want to be there.
They get the D word, they get the kills. It was just a little bit too hopeful, I think. They got the immediate burst onto Rise, but it was 15 seconds till Ravage.
They X-mark Wiz, but unfortunately, like, eating 80% of that regen rune talentless.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a good spicy one, dude.
That's a comeback. That's a
spicy
powerful one. But that right there was kind of the power of Kunkka in a nutshell. Whenever he ghost shipped onto the Tide, it ran through, I think, at least 2 heroes. They were able to clean up the Rubik pretty much or after the fact, but he was just so strong. And it's just, the Necro 3 is just so obnoxious. You just send it on an offlaner. I think we saw it in the cut game yesterday where Beastmaster versus Tide is just such a sad situation because if you're ever near it with the inner beast, they just chunk through your mana, and there's not much you can do about it if you're that Tide.
Well, if you're anybody for that matter.
Yes.
Rip through the Wraith King mana. I mean, you got no resurrection. You know that, like, as soon as you're in a big team fight, you know the Wraith King's there. You're gonna throw those Necrons at him.
Well, and now, I mean, they're gonna be able to put pressure on this tower. I'm guessing, yeah, just immediate glyph.
I mean, it's the best counter against the Necronomicon. Is just glyph it immediately, and most likely by the time the glyph is down, the creeps are basically gone. And that is, in fact, the scenario here.
The only unfortunate thing is they did have to glyph the non-cart wave, so there is a cart wave still coming for the Dire Heroes bottom, and it looks like they're going to stay strong and just continue to push down this tower as there's not really a response coming out from Unknown right now. They're TPing back with the Nyx Assassin, so maybe looking for a straggler after the tower falls, but if they see Tano top, yeah, they're going to flood TPs here.
I wish they dropped the Ravage, but it
no.
only lands on 1 and 2, actually, but they're spread. I don't really know
They didn't
about
see
that
him.
Ravage. Robo-Z,
Ben
they do
Jazz?
find Ben. He cookies the creeps and is going to get roared, but defensively, his Wish will go ahead and give a gold Vendetta stab to the board there.
And I mean, they did defend their towers, but at what cost? You lost your Ravage, you're going to lose all of your aggression now. The only team fight abilities you have are that Mortimer Kisses, and it's a fantastic spell, and you can still throw in your Tide, but I think this is just time now for Rises to farm even more.
I mean, Rises has literally just been doing that almost the whole entire game. The man has a Battle Fury and an SNY. And he's going for a Heart Rush, so it looks like after that Heart, he's going to want to just team fight. Because I doubt that we're going to see him go for... Well, no, he might go for the Basher build after the Heart.
Radiant's courier has
But
Well, the Heart
sometimes
build
you
is a
go,
little
like,
bit
AC.
atypical. Yeah, that's what we usually see. We see the AC, we see the Basher, we see the BKB, the Agi Blink, and then that hero feels disgusting. But it's a little risky, like we saw in that Weaver game where he was just under threat for so long because he waited on his BKB, but Kara's going to go down.
Yeah, there's a lot of heroes here, and RoboZ looking to get the shotgun with the scatter jump cookie
Oh
combo.
my gosh. This
Slowly
hero
and
is so
steadily.
disgusting. It's so broken.
He's in your ranked games. He's in everyone's pubs. That's Enchantress for you. Nature's Attendance and level 1 in Untouchable.
And immediate smoke. Ravage in 50 seconds. They're pinging out Rise. He's been farming under this ward pretty consistently, so they're calling that he's going to move towards the wave, but it looks like Rises is upsetting their expectation here.
Yeah, I mean, he's out of that area now. Radiant dropped the scan, and Unknown, they're just not going to find anything. Well, actually, no. They do get a clip. They don't know who it is, but it's Rises only just barely eating the scan time on the outside of the circle.
With the Hawk that they had bottom, I'm guessing they called that rotation. I don't think they saw the initial smoke, but they saw the group up, and I think at this point they know exactly what's going on, and they can decide if they want to fight and to Ravage at this point, or be completely okay with farming. I mean, we've got a lot of items on the way. The big one being Alone's BKB, and once he has that, I think the team fight's going to get really difficult for Unknown to make something really good happen.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I mean,
And they
Heart
finished off that
is-
bot T2.
Yeah, they will get the tower-to-tower trade.
Dire's top tower
But
is
Rises
under
did just finish up his Heart, so he's going to go for the AC next. Yeah, he's going to go for the Aura combat build.
under attack.
He's going to go AC, then probably Basher, and then I doubt you'd run Satanic in this game. I feel like you want to get damage after that.
Yeah, you're probably going to queue up the Abyssal Blade. He just doesn't want to have any weakness.
Gotcha.
Oh, they see Widge.
Is under attack.
Tosses
Oh,
it
he
out.
just stunned himself.
Yeah, he will get hit, but, you know, which stun lasts longer? They
And they're
will
pinging
get this
Roche.
Nyx.
They just
I
want to
mean,
go in. They've hit their item timing.
Yeah, I mean, since they killed the Nyx as well, they don't have an Invis hero to worry about for this, and Rises is just going to put as much as he can into this without popping Chem Rage.
Oh, Prada.
Yeah, he is floating around.
He's got Vendetta. He's looking for other heroes. Yeah, he's going to keep him from getting in.
Concoction.
Oh, no.
Plus Rises jumping in there. They will drop the Soulbind. He's actually silenced, so he is going to eat this Concoction timer, but will still find a return kill. And it looks like, I wasn't going to say that was a kiss, but it looks like it was just a lob there.
And I mean, this did buy enough time. Oh,
Oh, hang on. Yeah, they do find Kara outside the pit. This kind of shakes up Unknown a little bit here.
oh no, it was too soon.
They Mortimer's kisses. Nobody's nearly dead. They drop a Ravage. It was purely defensive. They stole Ravage.
This
Kano
is
can
looking
turn
really
this
bad
around.
now.
This is huge. If they get the first kill on the Burna, you're just going to insta-Ravage right after this.
Not even. I think they
No,
can just
they're
save it.
holding it.
They're just going to...
There it is.
Oh, there we go.
They drop the Ravage now because they didn't have any more continual follow-up stuns. So they get this kill, and they're just going to walk back into Roche.
And that goes back to not having the vision. Because the Grimstroke went down, Stroke of Fate was their only way to peek inside the pit, and they're going for a steal. Oh!
They throw in Prada. Prada is going to stun.
He
It's
got
go
it!
down, but Ryze
No!
steals it just in time. They steal the gold. But the gold ain't the Aegis, and that's what they're there for. As the roar
They got
goes
more.
out, the jump as well. Alone just pumping his right click to try to confirm the last hit. Will get it.
It was actually the Necro Purge creep. He was able to micro it, so the Rubik was walking through mud trying to pick up the Aegis, and he just couldn't get it. That was almost sick. Oh, that's so unfortunate, though. Because now this Alex got an Aegis. Now he's got his items. I mean, he's got a Hyperstone on the way. He just wants to kill all your buildings now and get this game over with.
Yeah, it's go time, basically. He's even got Quicksilver, so he's got that extra little of attack speed there. Of course, the ranged attack animation and speed doesn't change much. Well, attack animation speed is actually good for Elf.
It's also, he's just so fast. He's just walking around, having a great time. But he's really under no threat from any of the unknown heroes. There's really not much they can do, and I'm guessing that's why he went for this heart build, where he just doesn't feel under threat. He just wanted to siege, do as much damage as possible, because even when he gets the boat laid out onto him, once that happens, I genuinely don't think he can die. They need to they need to catch him without his ulti, without an Aegis. So many conditions need to be met before I think he's really going to be under any serious threat.
And it's going to take a long time for those conditions to even really appear. The Alchemist is just pumping out way too much. I mean, what, the best response people usually do is the Spirit Vessel, right? But, like, looking at these items, you're seeing no Spirit Vessel being queued up.
The only hero that could have rushed it is the Snapfire, and she didn't go for that avenue. She went for a more successful her own game, but what do you do on this high ground?
You already see, yeah, Ego, they're just pushing into this one. I mean, it's like you said, they got the Aegis, so Ryzes just wants to click on the buildings. Like, they can't even do anything about him. They will put some damage into him, put him down to half HP, but the Aegis is there with the heart as well. The boat, as well as the X, with the torrent to follow suit. Berna is losing quite a bit of HP here, but
got the stun off.
Stunned continuously. They will cookie him out, as well as a kiss setup. And now, actually, Draco will throw out the Ravage, but Trakil will still go down. The first life of Alchemist has hit the floor.
Not bad.
Buy back on Tide immediately, though.
Oh, he's just walking out.
Boys, they will disengage. Kara is going to be the main one in trouble here, and looks like the only one to be sacrificed. For now.
He's channeling up a stun.
Yep, the concoction gets thrown. Spiked is there. But whose stun lasts longer is the question, and we all know who it is. Ghost Scepter is going to be used up, though, to slow down this aggression on the Nyx, but they saw that they already got the first life off this Wraith King, and they want to turn this bad boy around. They are going to end up getting Bajaz. And now Ryze is actually in a bit of trouble here. No stun available from Wiz, Spike, Carapace. There it is now. They will throw out the stun.
The Gobble
missed.
missed.
He's picked up the cookie to the high ground for the save.
He's got ulti now. He's got Chem
ulti.
Rage.
He just needs to kill this kill the silence, and he will indeed do that.
Oh,
now
no.
he's just going to wail into Drakil, and he will get the kill. That's a dieback from him. The Nyx is dead as well.
And they were so close. They were so close, but they're just getting kited out of their base. The X marks lands onto Berna, and it's just going to happen all again. They were able to take the Aegis out of his hand, but they weren't able to get the Alch right after when his ulti ended on their high ground. They just didn't have enough control. And they're going to respect them, but I don't think that this is looking really good for Unknown.
I think Alone, by the way, was like considering BMX marking Ryzes. Because he was
just
standing
keeping him
there,
in there.
watching him TP, and I'm like, do I want to do it? And then, like, there was a cookie leap in, and it was like, okay, no, it's a good thing he didn't do that. Actually, I don't know if it might have been a BM. It might have been more of, like, just clean what you can.
Yeah.
The classic Tinker X marks with Kunkka. The only reason Kunkka ever exists in the game. With a Tinker in it.
And we see, whenever they do want to fight, the easiest hero to kill is just this Rubik. Even Kara takes so long to kill, and they're just killing everyone.
Yeah, they steal the Impale, they get Robo Z, they get Prada, and Wiz. I mean,
here we go.
What are you going to do? They just picked off, I was going to say, all three of their supports, but, I mean, Snapfire isn't
that's
a
what
support.
it feels like. That's what it
exactly.
feels like.
It is what it feels like, because you're looking at Snapfire, and she has a Blink and an Ags, and I'm not saying this is a very last meta hero, more or less. It's just this hero was not able to pop off at the rate that maybe Unknown was expecting, more or less.
Oh, and it also comes down to Benjaz having such a good game. He was able to keep so much pressure in the lanes that it wasn't really hard for Ryzes to call what the enemy team was doing. I felt like every time he was farming exactly where the enemy team knew where he was, but not in a place where they could do anything about it. And this is the Alch timer.
Do hear a boat being thrown out there. Prada is going to be the target of that boat there, but they do have a light rotation coming in. They will go ahead and lob, actually. They get the lob out onto Alone, but Alone's got a lot of HP to work with. Jumping into an Impale, by the way. Secondary Impale respawn, but they do have the concoction being cooked up here. They do end up getting Prada in the back lines. Drakil lifted up as well. The Ravage is available. No, it's not. He ended up what did he do to lose his mana? It was the Soul Ring timer. It ticked
It was
off.
the Soul Ring.
And now you see the first life being expended for the Wraith King. The stun goes out, but the BKB on alone as well as on Benjaz to help them confirm this. The X mark is there and rises. Comes in with a BKB of his own. The clicks are there and they will burn down Robo-Z. And the GG is thrown out. A 26-minute game. The Egoboys taking it home with this Alchemist pick. And no doubt we will see this ban. First phase, next game.
There's just nothing they could do. We kind of called it in the draft. I think they realized that they forgot about it as well. They spent a lot of their reserve time after that pick just figuring out of any possibility they could have winning this game, but it just wasn't in the cards. They tried the Snapfire mid. They knew they needed to try something different, but even alone on that Kunkka, he just was playing so solidly. Robo-Z had a few rotations that were successful, but there just weren't enough that really affected the Alchemist's farm, and there's just nothing in the tank for Unknown to win that one.
Yeah, there wasn't really much of a tank in general, I imagine. Like, there was probably just maybe like a jug, and that, I mean, it's hard to fill that jug.
A jug would have been good. I would have liked a jug.
Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is a... Shoot, what's the term we've been using? It's not best of two.
Doubleheader?
Doubleheader, yes. Doubleheader, that's the baseball term. This is a doubleheader of a game. So we'll have game number 2 right around the corner for you. Don't go far.